Welcome to the Coaches Show. I'm Darrin Joins, Williamson County Schools Athletic Director. We have Coaches Show number 1 for the 24-25 school year, and it's a good one. We're going to be talking about the Battle of Franklin, tonight's big season opening matchup. We've got our special guest, Centennial head coach Jamal Stewart, Franklin first-year head coach Josh Adkins. Gentlemen, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, thank you.
So tonight's WCTV Game of the Week is a non-region matchup, but that means nothing when it comes to the rivalries here in WCS. But it's obviously still a big one. It's one of the biggest rivalries, not only in this county, but really in all of Tennessee. Coach Adkins, first of all, welcome to WCS. Welcome to the Coaches Show, and welcome to the Battle of Franklin.
Oh yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. I'm definitely excited to be here for sure.
Coach Stewart, you're now a crafty old veteran. You've been here 2 years, many-time guest of the Coaches Show. Talk about this a little bit. Year 2, you know where you're going. You know which key goes in what door. You know everybody's name at the school. Isn't it a little different year 2 compared to year 1?
Oh, without a doubt, I'm 100% more comfortable and know the way of the way. You know, just getting our kids in a culture and a program and a set schedule, and just knowing, you know, like you said, you finally got the keys to the program and you're kind of in control now. So year 2 has been a lot easier for me.
Well, and outside of football, obviously football, you got that down. But just being in a different school system, it's just different. Doesn't mean it's better, worse, it's just different.
Yeah, it's just different. I mean, like I said, the different culture of the kids and the expectation of school and just the day-to-day job. You know, I'm in a freshman academy, so I'm like the dean of students of freshmen. So, you know, so I'm hands-on with that, and I enjoy that because these kids are wide-eyed when they get to the school building. So, you know, just not just a football coach, being a mentor and a leader in the school building, I really enjoy that part of it.
And Coach, I don't know if this is breaking news, and we can maybe break it on the show today. You'll be coaching the flag football squad in the spring, correct?
Oh yeah, I'm excited about that. Yeah, I'm excited about that. So like, I've been talking to the girls, and they're excited as well. So I get double duty, and I'm looking forward to it.
I got a feeling we're going to see some Coach Stewart trick plays.
Oh, first one, and I'm doing first play of the game, maybe.
Coach Adkins, so you come to Franklin, kind of middle of the year, so you got to get your feet wet a little bit. But talk about first year being in WCS and at Franklin High School.
It's definitely been a roller coaster. You know, everybody I've been talking to is like, you know, when you're ready for a head coaching job, you know, you feel like you got everything lined out and ready to go, and then you actually get into it, and it's nothing what you prepared for that you felt like was so trivial. So, you know, Jamal gives me a little light at the end of the tunnel coming in. You know, make it to year 2, and it's a little bit easier. That's what I'm hearing. So, but it's been good. Get to know the student body and the faculty, and just, you know, the pulse of the school, and it's been awesome because they've been, you know, very welcoming. And I got told somebody early on, I was there for about a month, and it felt like I've been there for a couple of years. Just how, you know, warm and welcoming everybody was, and just, you know, accommodating and just helping. Like, hey, you know, I got lost one time at school. I'm like, which hallway am I supposed to be in again? So like, and they could tell, like, hey, you lost, coach. I was like, yeah, I need a little help. But it's been really good, and everybody, like I said, has just been, you know, very welcoming and helping me out, trying to get my lay of the land. So this fall, or, you know, early on, it's been a couple of weeks, but I feel like I'm a wily veteran than that, because like he said, the freshmen come in all wide-eyed. They're like, you know, they're coming from a school that maybe have like 900 kids, and we're sitting over 1,700 now, and so it's like, you know, where's the 300 hallway, or you know, where's this teacher? And I can now point to them and say, hey, go here, you know, make sure you go there, and it helps them because they can feel a bit more comfortable when someone's there, kind of being goofy and helping them out for sure.
Well, let me ask you this, Coach, just educate our audience here. You came to us from Gallatin, so tell us a little bit about your background.
So yeah, I was at Gallatin for 5 years. You know, predominantly special teams coordinator. You know, helped out with academics, defensive coordinator 1 year. Prior to that, I did a little bit of the college stint. I was a GA at McNeese. I was a defensive line DFO at Florida Tech, a little D2 school down in Florida. And before that, I was actually at Stratford for 2 years. That was my first kind of, when I got out of the military, my first 2 years coaching was with Coach Maurice Fitzgerald at Stratford. So I kind of got my toes really dipped in. You know, Metro's an unbelievable place. Learning from Big Ma, stuff that he talked about then, I still kind of, it's grained into me. And so it's been a roller coaster with the wife, and we've loved every ups and downs with it. And so we're just, like I said, excited to be at Franklin.
Coach Stewart, I'll start with you on this one. Obviously, the first week of the season, everybody's excited. You're tired of practicing against each other. 7-on-7s behind us. You've scrimmaged a little bit. What's it been like at school this week and also at practice this week?
Oh, they kind of locked in. Like I said, it means a lot to the guys, not just because it's the first football game, but it's a community thing. You know, the history between Centennial and Franklin is very big in how my parents, they went to Franklin. Now their kids are at Centennial, so it's kind of a split household. But you know, they support their kids, but they still love Franklin. You know, so I mean, it's big for them. They're finally getting the opportunity to play something that really matters. You know, we had our scrimmages, and like I said, in our scrimmages, you want to see certain things, and you work on certain things. But now you can put it all together for a real game that you game plan for, and our kids are excited. You know, we're healthy, and our guys have just been practicing hard. And like I said, we're just ready for tonight's game to, you know, represent what we're trying to build.
Coach Adkins, how about for the Admirals this week? How's it been?
We've had a pretty solid week of practice. I've kind of just constantly emphasizing, focusing on the little things, figuring out who our identity is for tonight's game, and just trusting the process, because I've been told how packed it's going to be, the environment. My wife, she's in a Franklin grad of 07, so she's like, she's like, man, your first game as a head coach in Williamson County is Centennial. And so, she's not been putting any pressure on me, but she's just kind of been giving me those little, keys and tips about just how important it means to the city and to the students and just the whole community of this game and what it kind of carries.
Now, Coach Stewart, obviously not a region game, but do you like this type of game in week one?
Well,
or would you rather kind of ease into it a little bit?
I didn't have no choice last year. So, like I said, we'll get together and talk about the next year, make another schedule. But, I mean, it's fun. But sometimes you want to ease into a big game like this. So, I mean, I'm just letting you know we probably need to play week 8.
Oh, yeah.
but anything. But like I said, it's exciting. Like I said, the community is going to be there. Like I said, it's going to be eye-opening for you tonight, because it was big for me. Whatever I expected, it was 10 times more. Oh. Like I said, the student sections are serious. Like I said, the college game day tonight is amazing. I mean, it's a great football atmosphere. And that would be the thing that I would not want to change because of game one, because it's a great feeling. But, yeah, it means a lot for the city. I would like to warm up a little bit before we get to this game.
So, Coach Adkins, so now that Coach Stewart's got you all riled up about tonight,
yeah.
First game as head coach. Do you like starting off this way? Again, non-region game.
Yeah.
But still, it's such a big game to the city.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I kind of leaning with Coach Stewart. Get a couple games under your belt first. The situation for tonight's game. It's just kids they're antsy, they're excited, and so you're just kind of like, you don't have those first couple games of the year to kind of work through the kinks and kind of get the momentum, and so it's kind of you could say there's potential implications with it, because starting out 1-0 versus 0-1 against your rival could kind of set your momentum going into region play. Now, obviously, we tell our teams, it's just take it, try to go 1-0, take it one play at a time. But I could feel it, like from the jamboree from last week, coming into all the practice this week for tonight's game. I could see the kids' attention, their focus a little bit more. Some of the guys were kind of tight. I was like, just trying to keep, relax, just focus on your keys. It's, I know it's not another game, any other game, but we got to try to treat it just like any other game. And I think as coaches, we've done a really good job this week of just kind of emphasizing on that, and just, with Coach Webb and myself and other coaches trying to be as cool as cucumbers. I think the kids they emulate that for tonight's game.
Let's talk a little game history. Again, you guys, Coach Stewart, 1-0, only been involved in it 1 year. Coach Adkins, your first time. This one dates back to 1997. So, oh, wow. Centennial sort of born out of Franklin, like Coach Stewart talked about. Franklin opened the series up with 15 straight wins, but since then, it's 8-5 Centennial, including 3 straight. The teams have only played one time in the playoffs. That was a 2014 Centennial win, obviously being different classifications. That's not going to happen now. Coach Stewart, Centennial, so to speak, taking a little bit, I would say, control of the series, but 8-5 in the last 13. I know you guys are proud of that.
Yeah, I mean, we're excited. But like I said, I know how much it means to the community, but like Coach just said, I'm just trying to go 1-0. It doesn't matter what the name is on the other side or who's standing across the field. We're just trying to go 1-0. Now, I know what it means, like I said, what it means for the city and the parents and our kids, but, it's one game. We're just excited about it. We love the series, but it doesn't matter who's across from us. We have the same goal in mind, but we know both sides are going to be hyped up for it.
Coach Adkins, sort of like happened with Coach Stewart last year, you have a chance for kind of folk hero status. First game you've ever coached at Franklin High School is against Centennial. I know Coach Stewart can probably attest to this. You win this game, it's like, oh, we got our new coach, and he took us through the rivalry. So you got a shot here now, folk hero in your first game.
Yeah, a lot of people have been asking me, with this first game, Coach, how is it important to you? How important is this game to you? And I was like, Coach Stewart was saying non-regional. It doesn't matter who's opponent across. You're just trying to take it, one play and one game at a time. But for me, there's a lot of things you can do as a head coach. You can coach for 10, 20 years, but there's not that many coaches that say, hey, your first win, your first game was your first win, kind of thing. So that's, for me, that's I've kind of had that approach of like, it's really not about me. It's about the kids and kind of our situation at Franklin, and that's where we kind of honed in on them. And when people ask me, I'll talk about the kids more than myself. So I know the situation's there, but obviously it's all about preparation and execution on Friday nights when you kind of find out if it's going to be a legend or if it's just folklore for sure. So yeah.
Let's talk about region play a little bit. I'll start with Coach Stewart. Coach Stewart, people talk about Region 6, 6A, which is Franklin's region, which we'll get to here in just a second. And a lot of people say, hey, that's the best region in the state, and I agree. But let's don't downplay your region either. You've got yourself, Nolensville, Page, Hillsboro, a traditional power, Glencliff, and then the school formerly known as Hillwood, James Lawson. But you've got a great league too.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a walk in the park. I mean, every Friday night when you got to strap up, it's a battle. Some great coaches at Page and Nolensville. I'm pretty good friends with those head coaches. And one of my best friends is Hillsboro's head coach. So we talk football a lot. But those guys are gonna get their guys prepared for Friday night. And the way football is any Friday it can go either way. Whoever makes the least amount of mistakes, and that's what we've been harping on. Don't shoot yourself in the foot. Mm-hmm. Just make the least amount of mistakes, but be disciplined, do your job, and that's what our whole region harps. I know. So like I said, it's never a walk in the park. Our game with Nolensville came down to the wire. So did Page twice. So I mean, it's like I said, you got to have your guys prepared for every Friday, either way it goes.
You know what I like too, Coach Stewart? So before you got here, Centennial was playing in 6A, Nolensville was off playing in 4, Page was by themselves in 5. I like the fact that 3 of you are together, and I have seen personally, and I know you feel this at the school, the rivalry you have going with Nolensville, and I'd say in particular Page right now, that's turning out to be pretty special too.
I mean, it's fun. Like I said, when you go against a high quality opponent, if you're successful, you game plan, you're organized, and things like that. Your program is in a good direction. I mean, even if you could tell, our non-region schedule is a 6A program for the most part as well. So I mean, we try to make sure our guys are well equipped, well battle tested before the playoff times, because that's what it matters. You want to go 15-0 or things like that. I tell my kids, we just got to get to the last 5 games. That's what's important to me. If we get there 6-4, 10-0, I just want to play 15 games, however we get there. And, if you do that, you had a great season. And with our region opponents and our non-region opponents, we're pretty battle tested.
I love how you've scheduled in your non-region games for sure, Coach. 6A, Coach Adkins, Brentwood, yourself, Independence, Ravenwood, Summit, and Overton. If I'm Overton, I would be making a plea to get out of the region for sure. But you can be a pretty darn good football team and not get to game 11.
Oh, for sure. I mean, when I took the job and look at the schedule, I've always told people that Williamson County is a special place when it comes to football, because it doesn't matter what classification you are. There's talented football teams in every region. And for us, kind of bounce off what Coach Stewart was saying with our non-region schedules as well. With obviously open up with Centennial. You got FRA, Mount Juliet, who's always a perennial playoff team. So it's a situation where you could be a good football team and be that 5th spot in this region and not make it to the playoff. And so it's just kind of taking your lumps and and rallying what we do well and stuff, as far as scheduling our opponents and just knowing in this region the little things that will get you beat, as far as not time of possession, but negative plays, turnovers, and sometimes even bad calls as a coach. And so it really kind of adds that the added pressure on you as a coordinator, as a coach to really make sure you're dialed in, because if you're not dialed in, then your kids aren't going to be dialed in, and the results are not what you want to be on the field for sure.
Well, and proof of and I know you talked about this a little bit at Football Media Day. Franklin's team last year, 0-8. Mm-hmm. They're playing undefeated Mount Juliet.
Yeah.
And Franklin gets the win. I think a lot of that has to do with who we play. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, I mean,
you know that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And like I said, it's just – to me, I would rather schedule people that's going to give you a good look and get you, like Coach Stewart said, just getting to that playoff game. So it's rather, you have those more difficult opponents, but it battle tests you that if you're hard enough and you kind of stick to your plan and stick to who you are, you might be 6-4 or 5-5 in that first round of the playoffs, and you never know. And so I kind of revert back to me on a personal level. I was in the college ranks at the time, but Stratford, they went 2-8 regular season, and they got hot and made it all the way to the semifinals. And people were like, who is this team and where they're at? And so I kind of use that example to our kids, like saying, like, hey, yeah, it's nice to go 10-0, but don't look over a 5-5 team with a strength of schedule, because some people just looks at wins and losses and don't realize like who those wins are against and who those losses are, because that always kind of sets you up for your playoff run.
Let's talk about your offenses a little bit. We'll start with you, Coach Stewart. You lose your starting quarterback. You lose Mr. Football finalist, Mr. Do-It-All, Dominic Reed. But I like your squad offensively. I think you do too. And I loved the confidence of the guys you had with you at media day. And you didn't downplay it. Kenai Johnson, I loved it. He said, no disrespect to the media, but hey, maybe you're overlooking us a little bit. We think we have a great team. We think we're better than our team last year. And you also talked about you love Riley Turner at QB.
Riley's, like I said, Riley's our coach on the field. The team respects him. The team listens to him. The team trusts him. And he makes the right decisions. In our scrimmages, we kind of spread it out what we wanted to see in certain scrimmages and things like that. And he did everything we asked him to do. Kenai is just a ball player. He does everything we ask him to do. I mean, he gets the ball in his hands multiple ways, and he just makes plays. And the guys feed off of him. And then we have some other guys at our skill position. His brother's actually really good as well. He's a sophomore. He makes plays, Gavin Johnson. And then you got Ethan Cleary, Tavon. So we have some guys that we can, make some plays in the at the wide receiver position. But yeah, we have to replace Dominic Reed and Tanner Lee and other guys like that. But like I said, I teach next man up. I mean, I care about developing who we have and things like that. I don't want to go look for another Dominic Reed. The guys have been in our program. We're going to coach him up to do what he wants to do what he's supposed to do, and that's how you build a culture. You build a culture on teaching. Hey, this guy was at this level, but now after the summer he's like that, and and then we harp on that. We're pretty good in the weight room. We do a good job in the weight room and just trying to stay injury free, but just have your body to sustain the hits and things like that. So I'm excited. Like I said, we got a good young core. We got a strong returning base. So I mean, it's the next man up mentality, and you got to play. I mean, we can't go buy them at Walmart. I can't go buy Dominic Reed again. So it's the next man up. So it'll be a Carlos V. Hill. It'll be a Jaden Drayton at running back, and we'll do things by committee as well this year. So it won't be a one-man show.
And I don't think I could always say this about Centennial in the past. You've got a little swag about you, and it's not cockiness, it's not arrogance, it's confidence. Mm-hmm. Is that fair to say that, Coach?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're not cocky. Well, I mean, it's a testament of the coaches and our work that we do. I mean, if we don't have confidence in what we do, the kids won't either. And like I said, it's not confidence. I mean, it's not cocky at all. It's like I said, it's just believing that, hey, I worked this hard. I deserve to feel this way. And that's just how it is for us. I mean, like offensively, we just feel like if we do what we're supposed to do, we'll be able to move the ball.
Enough said. Coach Atkins, talk about this. Your senior class, they've taken some bumps over the years, but in terms of snaps, you may have more snaps, certainly regular season snaps, from a senior class than any other senior class in the county. You take a guy like Brewer Wilson, I'm wondering if that guy's like 27 years old. He's played for so long. Yeah. But you got a lot. Wills Jackson, a lot of people are talking about that combo. They liked it not only in 7-on-7, but also your scrimmages.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, when I took the gig, I realized how many seniors we had on the team, and then I kind of started looking through, and a lot of them were, either 3-year players or 3-year starters. And, in the case with Brewer being a 3-year quarterback, and I've always kind of joked with him, like, hey, can we reclass you one more year? You ain't got one more year left. But it's a situation with all these seniors. I mean, you've already kind of said Brewer and Wills. I mean, you got Lucas Young, you got Luke Thompson the junior, you got Sean Gacka, you got Jalen Spring. I mean, you've got Aiden Domingo, Jack Flynn. At times I'm sitting there looking at my call sheet and I'm like, trying to get everybody the ball, because I think when they get the ball in their hands, they can be special. And in a situation where we were that 7-on-7, and Wills was kind of banged up a little bit, so I said, hey, honey, would you rather win a 7-on-7 or would you rather win football games? And he's like, all right, coach, I'll trust you. And and so we had some other younger guys kind of step up and make plays, and Lucas Young, kind of balled out in that tournament. He had 10 touchdowns, and it was at one point where I would have to audible Lucas on a route that wouldn't go with our concept, because hey, bro, we gotta work to our next level. And he kind of understood, in the scheme of the offense, trusting your reads and making the right throw. But at the end of the day, kind of going back to Big Ma, it really ain't about X's and O's. It's Jimmy's and Joe's. And so I'm starting to look around at a senior year. My first year as head coach, all these seniors, I'm like, I feel like I said blessed, and kind of going off what Coach Stewart was saying about belief. I'm a huge Ted Lasso fan, so in my office, my door is always open when I'm in the office. I didn't go to home Thursday night till midnight, kind of getting those last-second preparations in. And above it, in my office, there's the big believe sign that Ted Lasso had. And I was like, we as coaches, you can't be the one that believe. You got to believe in yourself. You got to believe that you are good enough, that you've worked hard enough, that you've put your time in, that you can be successful. And it's been, kind of the culture I've been setting, that, hard work pays off, and mental toughness is what we're really kind of focused on. And those kids first were hesitant about it, but now they want it and they've thrived for it to those uncomfortable situations, because they know this, this is their, senior year. And so it's like, there's no, oh, well, I'll get better next year because, this is it.
Coach, let's talk, Coach Stewart, we'll start with you. Let's talk a little defense. Is it safe to say, if you're talking about long-term and how deep you get, the play of your defense is going to determine how far you get in the postseason? You believe that?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, defense wins championships. We lost a good core of those, but we had a really good JV squad last year, and the guys that we replaced them with, I mean, they're up to date. They understand what we expect. They do the right thing, and like Coach Atkins said, we reading keys. Keys tell you everything.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, keys. I told them keys open the door. You can't get in without them. So, I mean, our guys have stepped up and did some things, and like I said, we preach disciplineness, and that's what gets you beat. And so on film, you see some things you need to work on and the errors, but I tell them those are all learning tools. So we have a good core of guys coming back, and I feel like our defense be pretty solid.
Coach Atkins, not bad. You mentioned him earlier, to have a veteran coach, not only of Franklin High School, but just coaching in general. And he's kind of a defensive guy people talk about. Having Coach Donnie Webb around, it's pretty cool that he's still with you.
Oh, he's been my ace in the hole, Darrin. I mean, it's a situation where he has the pulse of the school, and he was my kind of go, still is my go-to early on, and defensively, he's changed some stuff up. But kind of Coach Stewart was saying, I like that phrase, by the way. I'm gonna steal that. Keys open the door. So I like that. So it's a situation where defensively, just staying sound. If there's motion or if they're trading or whatever it might be, there's certain checks that you have that we've prepared for, and having someone like Coach Webb, I'm always like, hey, what do you think about this? Not just defensively, offensively, and special teams. I mean, everything. He's literally been I tell him he's my cheat code when it comes to head coach, because I have an idea and a vision that I want. And what I love the most about Coach Webb is he'll tell you straight up. He was like, and you can tell when he doesn't. He'll be like, I like that, Coach. And he'll be like, I like that, but, and then so wait, what do you mean, Coach? So it's been really, really fortunate to have him on my staff, and just to have somebody to kind of lean on to bounce some ideas off, for sure.
Coach Webb is a don't ask if you don't want to know kind of guy.
For sure.
Which is my kind of guy.
Yeah.
Hey, let's talk special teams, in particular your kicking game, your punting game. Coach Stewart, I know this is one of the things you said when you first got here. It's like, Man, that's kind of nice. We got a kicker and a punter who can get it done. Talk about your special teams, Coach.
Yeah, just to harp on what Coach said earlier, like my coaching career started at Stratford. So, and that's where I actually graduated from high school from. So, kicker was not on a roster when I was there, and you know, we had a D swing one time at Hillsborough. So, you know, having a guy like Will Stanley on our team, man, it's a breath of fresh air. You know, it's good to have 7 points on the scoreboard, not 6. You know, we're going for 2 every play, and he takes his craft serious. I mean, he works hard. I mean, Wells is built like a linebacker. Like sometimes we're like, hey man, can you play anything else? Because, I mean, he lifts weights hard. He takes care of his body, and he's always camping or working with professionals and things like that. So, I mean, we plan on him kicking tremendously for us this year. And like I said, his kickoff has got a lot better. You know, anytime you kick the ball through the end zone and the defense has to start, the offense has to start from the 20 to 20. So, I mean, it's a positive for the defense. So, you know, that's another weapon to have. And then just being the ability to kick field goals. You know, he won us a game versus Nolensville last year. So, I mean, that's just a good feeling to have. And just, hey, if it's 4th and 8 and we don't have to go for it, we can try 3. So that's a good weapon to have in our program. And like I said, I'm glad he's on our team. And
Coach Atkins flipping the field too.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you know, the special teams, I always had near and dear to me. You know, when I was at McNeese State, it was, you know, Dennis Smith kind of gave me the antidote of love when it comes to special teams. So even though that I'm, you know, with offense now, I'm still always kind of with Coach DeFato. I'm like, hey, how are we doing this on special teams, or what are we thinking here? And he's done a really good job of getting, you know, we're kind of kicking by committee. And that's how I was at Gallatin too, was like you kind of keep it as open competition. And we've got 3 really good kickers. You know, Wayne Wells, Ron Cameron, and then Thompson King of, you know, they all 3 will do kickoffs, punts, you know, extra points, the whole 9. So it's because it creates, you know, competition, you know, breeds excellence. And so it's like they know if they're not putting the ball in the end zone, or if they're not, you know, getting that, you know, 40-yard punt with a 4-second hang time, that there's someone behind them that's working to do it and achieving it. And if they got the hot hand, they're more likely to get the start on a Friday night.
Let's talk a little bit more about your teams offensively and defensively in terms of keys for tonight. Coach Stewart, you're a guy that I've noticed, obviously more specifically last year since you were here, didn't watch you as closely when you were at East Nashville, but your offense balanced is a word I always think of. Take what the defense gives you, but it ends up being pretty darn balanced every game.
Yeah, I mean, I try to be. You know, my early career calling plays, I threw the ball like 30 times a game, 40 times a game. And that's because we didn't have really good offensive line. I mean, so we had to get the ball out quick. And then, you know, so gradually down in my career, I started going to programs that have linemen, and I like to run the ball. And then I got run game heavy. And, you know, my wide receiver coach is one of my good friends, you know, the pass game coordinator, Jordan Smith. He's like, hey, we do have wide receivers now, you know. So I mean, so I've balanced it out. Him and Coach Southall, you know, our run game coordinator, you know, they balance it out. And like I said, I mean, you got to keep the defense honest. Last year, you know, when certain things, when Dom was back there, you just knew, hey, Dom, take us home. But you know, Riley is a really smart kid. You know, he's a really good football player, and I honestly think he's going to be a coach one day. When you have him back there, you want to be balanced, you know. So I mean, that's what we try to be. You know, at the end of the day, run game might be working one game, and then Riley might be on fire one game. So you really, like I said, you hit the nail on the head. I just take what they give us.
Coach Atkins, for your team, and you've got kind of a unique situation that maybe people have seen you in scrimmages, but not everybody's going to reveal everything. But you've kind of got a little different advantage in that this is your first time doing it. So safe to say we might see something a little different from the Admirals than we've seen in the preseason.
I mean, yeah, like the stuff we ran, you know, I tell our guys, like, you know, as far as play calling stuff, like there's certain things we want to focus on. You know, obviously we're not going to reveal our whole playbook, but, you know, I mean, I kind of agree with Coach Stewart. It's a situation, just take what the defense gives you. So I tell guys, you know, what kind of offense are you running? And they'll try to reference like Mike Leach or, you know, even Coach Straub up in Gallatin, his kind of offense. And at the end of the day, you know, my philosophy is we're going to, you know, run to throw and throw to run. So it's a situation where if they got 8 guys in the box, we've got to find someone outside the perimeter to get the ball to. And if they got 5 guys in the box and they're light, we got to be able to run the ball. And because I tell my guys at the end of the day, I want 12 feet. That's what I'm looking for. Every play that I call, I'm looking for 12 feet. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care how we do it. As long as we get those 12 feet, more times than not, we're going to be successful.
All right, we'll end with this. Coach Stewart, give me a defensive key for your team tonight.
I'll be disciplined in the secondary. I mean, that's something we have the guys, but you know they get a little antsy sometimes. So you know we harped on it. I know Coach seen it on film. We seen it on film. So I mean, just be disciplined. Do what you're supposed to do in the secondary, and we'll be fine.
Coach Adkins, defensive key for tonight.
I mean, I'm just going to keep picking up Coach Stewart. I feel like he's in my meetings on this whole week. Secondary, just trust your keys, trust the process. Like, trust the guys on, to the left and right to make those plays, because when you try to come down to make that play, that's when you're going to get hit over the top for sure.
Gentlemen, I know you've been busy this week. Looking forward to tonight's game. Looking forward to game day. Game day number 1, Coach Stewart in front of the Franklin crowd. I know they'll be friendly. Coach Adkins, his first game day tonight, so we're looking forward to it. Good luck, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Darrin.
Thank you for joining us for the Coaches Show. We'll see you next time.